The Moon-Howlers, also known as the Moon-Howlers or Moon-Howlers with a Z, are a tribe of goblin wolf riders inhabiting the southwestern portion of the Darklands, near Mount Greyhag. Led by Grak Mankfur, a goblin wolf lord, and his spiritual advisor Sheka Fangtooth, prophet of Mork, the Moon-Howlers appear to have done alright for themselves as far as goblin tribes go. Mankfur is a cunning and fearsome leader with a knack for striking at the perfect opportunity, and Fangtooth is a powerful, if flea-bitten, shaman. There appear to have been enough wolf riders in the tribe to form two regiments of warriors, the Blacktails Mob and Grak's Dog Boys. While little is known of their history, it's safe to say that the Moon-Howlers tribe is full of accomplished warriors. Nothing survives for that long in the Darklands without some level of martial prowess, after all. The bulk of our knowledge regarding the Moon-Howlers comes to us from the end times. They had been marching to Carrick Eight Peaks to join Skarsnik's impending Wa when they were intercepted by a massive host of undead. The vampiress Neferata was marching south in order to loot a massive dwarf treasure hoard in the Lost Plateau, and she was at best indifferent to the greenskins caught in her wake. There was no way the disorganized goblins could stand against such a massive force, and as such, the Moon-Howlers were but one of several tribes driven before the first vampire and her army. The greenskins fled until they arrived at Skull Chasm, a notorious subterranean ambush site and crossroad that Neferata would have to pass across in order to reach her destination. There the goblins sought to rest, recover, and plan their next move. It was Gruelsick Moonclaw, warboss of the Moonclaw Night Goblin tribe, who eventually seized control of the situation. Realizing that, by uniting several tribes, he'd have a functional, if somewhat cowardly, force at his disposal, Gruelsick quickly began bribing, harassing, and threatening the other goblin leaders. Several tribes took quite a bit of pleading to join this impromptu army, but the Moon-Howlers were not among them. The Wolf Riders were eager for a scrap, and they quickly followed Gruelsick's lead. They acted as the warboss's eyes and ears, scouting out the terrain and tailing the undead armies that advanced towards Skull Chasm. This valuable intelligence let Gruelsick organize a cunning ambush, ensuring that his Night Goblin, Squig, and Troll units could move into position before the vampire army passed through. Once the undead were thoroughly encircled, the ambush was sprung. The Moon-Howlers were positioned on the right flank, alongside the rest of the Goblin cavalry and several incredibly focused stone trolls. Their side was the only one to see any real success in the battle before the vampiress Imhotep, one of Neferata's most trusted lieutenants, intercepted them while atop her coven throne. Accompanied by her spectral guard, the vampiress cut down swaths of goblins, or else bewitched them into butchering their fellows. The right flank, the Moon-Howlers among them, were cut down to the last. Their deaths did provide some lasting benefit to their army, however, as Imhotep and some of Neferata's most valuable troops had severely overextended themselves in the effort. Surrounded by the goblins they had not slain, the undead would have found themselves destroyed, if not for Nagash's timely resurrection. As it stands, the influx of death magic accompanying the Great Necromancer's return reinvigorated the vampires, and the Moon-Howlers' deaths ultimately proved to be pointless, much like the lives of many greenskins. In Total War Warhammer, the Moon-Howlers are the Regiment of Renown Goblin Wolf Rider unit on the Greenskin roster. Introduced with the King and the Warlord DLC, they actually bring surprisingly good value to the table, at least in multiplayer. The Moon-Howlers are pretty cheap, weighing in at 425 gold. This is a lot more expensive than the standard Goblin Wolf Riders, which only cost 300 gold without any chevrons, but it is still cheaper than a regular rank 9 Wolf Rider unit, which costs 480 gold. In addition to that, the Moon-Howlers cause fear and have a slightly higher charge bonus than their standard counterparts. It's a measly 23 instead of 20, but every little bit can help. Now, normally I would say that bringing a rank 9 Warhound style unit is a complete waste of funds, so you aren't really saving anything by bringing the Moon-Howlers. Bring an unupgraded Goblin Wolf Rider, save 125 gold. They're basically supposed to die anyways, like living torpedoes. I'd argue that the Moon-Howlers are an exception to this rule, however. To see what I mean, you have to look beyond the Greenskin roster. Compared to other Hound-like units that other factions have, such as Chaos Warhounds and Direwolves, the Moon-Howlers have a comparable, if not cheaper, price point and significantly better stats, especially when it comes to melee defense. While they're still not breaking 30 on either melee defense or melee attack, this makes the Moon-Howlers much more durable than the competition. They can stay in the enemy backlines for a long time, tearing through line after line of enemy archers and artillery, when other Hound units, your own included, would otherwise rout or crumble. The fact that they can cause fear means they can rout opponents even faster than normal, quickly taking enemy damage dealers offline. The Moon-Howlers may not be a go-to in all matchups, but they can do a lot of work against the Skaven, Empire, and Bretonnian backlines. They can even lay on the hurt against High Elves and Dwarfs, though the high leadership of these factions makes their fear ability less useful. All in all, a surprisingly useful unit on the Greenskin roster. With that, we have come to the end of our overview of the Moon-Howlers. Judging by the comment section of some of my other videos, I know that some of you probably weren't too happy with this video, considering its heavy focus on the end times. I understand there are still some hard feelings surrounding the event. Please forgive me, but that's just how it goes sometimes, you know? I hope you can look past that fact, and enjoy the video anyways. I also hope it's encouraged any of my multiplayer fans to think about bringing them in more matchups. I was really surprised with how good the Moon-Howlers are while still writing the Total War segment. If any of you have a good game utilizing them, I would love to see it. If you record a multiplayer match where you use them, feel free to send it to me through my Discord, which should be linked below. Let me know if it isn't or if the link isn't working. If I have any takers, I'll try to cast it and put it on the channel to showcase what I'm talking about. I really have faith in these guys. That's all I want to share today though, so until next time, this has been Sigmar's Chosen, signing off for now.